As a content creator, inefficiency can be the worst, particularly when it comes to posting on YouTube, where the algorithm tends to reward those who post more frequently. If you have inefficient processes in your production cycle, believe it or not, it can actually have a pretty big impact on your channel. So I posted about this on Twitter and Instagram a couple of weeks ago, but over the past few months, ever since increasing the amount of days that I work on my YouTube channel, I've finally picked up on all of these little inefficiencies in my workflow, and I've somewhat managed to get on top of them. So I've put together a list of 10 productivity hacks that will hopefully help all of your workflows as well. So you ready? Let's go. All right, tip number one is something you do before you even set up the camera, and that is creating to-do lists. But not just any to-do list. If you want to feel more productive, then you've got to be really intentional with these to-do lists by breaking up large items and also by adding in a whole heap of really easily achievable items. For example, a to-do list on any given day for me might include replying to emails, scripting a video, filming A-roll for a video, editing the A-roll for that video, starting to film B-roll, and perhaps starting to script another video. Notice how that list doesn't include finishing a video or editing an entire video. They're bits and pieces of a video plus a few other small tasks, and they're all super achievable within a single day. And trust me when I say, when you've got a list of achievable goals to get through, it's way more motivating than seeing a daunting list of big tasks that are going to take a week or even more to complete. And so you end up actually checking off the items on your to-do list, which equals productivity. Second up, and let me tell you, one of the best things you can do to up your efficiency is multitasking. Now, I'm not just referring to any sort of multitasking, but specifically video multitasking. So for example, at the start of any work week, I'll try and make sure that I have 2 complete scripts ready to go. Then at the start of the week, pretty much the first thing that I do is I set up my A-roll set, so what you're watching right now, and then I film the A-roll for both videos back to back. Then I've got the base for 2 videos in the can, and that sets the platform for the week going forward. Similar story with other setups, top-down shots or studio B-roll shots. If I can, I'll grab whatever I'm shooting for both videos and get it done in one go. Since doing this, my productivity has shot through the roof. Speaking about shooting B-roll, if you don't already, then do yourself a favor and pick up an RGB colored light. Take a look at this shot. It's a macro close-up of a phone and it looks pretty cool, right? Well, change the color of the background light, switch the way that you're panning the camera, and bam, you've got a completely different looking shot within seconds. You don't want to use these shots back to back to back throughout your video, but scattered throughout, and you're golden. I'm currently using the Aperture MC RGB light, but you could even get away with using LifeX bulbs or even cheaper colored bulbs, just as long as they don't flicker in your footage, and I'll leave a link to some of my recommendations below. Another neat time-saving trick related to A-roll is to make sure that you film your piece to camera for the entire duration of the video that you're working on. So sometimes we have videos that are half piece to camera, half voiceover, or sometimes entirely voiceover, and I get it. Creatively, sometimes that is the decision that is right for your video, but trust me when I say having the entire video's worth of A-roll is so handy when it comes to editing and then shooting B-roll. The reason for this is if I'm editing and I've run out of B-roll for whatever I'm talking about, or I simply don't have time to set up a B-roll shot for the topic that I'm talking about, well, I could just cut back to my face. Again, it's not always the best decision creatively, but if you're on a tight time budget, it can save you loads of time at the back end of your projects. Now, one killer in terms of efficiency if you're not in an acoustically treated room is setting up the space so that it sounds good. Now, aside from throwing up a few blankets around your space, one of the easiest ways to improve your audio and save a bunch of time is to get your microphone as close to your mouth as possible. But what if you don't want the microphone in your shot? Well, simple. Once you finish recording, just grab a 30-second clean plate, which is essentially a shot without the microphone visible. Then, in your editing software of choice, overlap the clean plate on top of your A-roll shot. Then draw a mask around the microphone, feather it a little bit, and poof, it's gone. Just like magic. Another thing that I've noticed has had a pretty drastic impact on my efficiency lately has been the length of my videos. A few months ago, I did a few 15 to 20 minute videos back to back, and I ended up feeling super unproductive those weeks because those videos took so long to finish. It's not that I was doing less work, it's just that I felt less productive because the output of those weeks were only one video compared to, let's say, 2. So since then, where possible, I've done my best to try and keep my videos at under 10 minutes in duration, and I'll even try and push for 5 minutes if I can. And this has greatly sped up the production process of completing these videos, meaning I'm able to get more than one done in any given week. Okay, here's an easy one. When it comes to editing videos for your YouTube channel, there's a pretty good chance that you're using a bunch of the same assets across each of your videos. So whether that be intro or outro graphics or little animated elements or certain sound effect files, or even if none of that applies, you surely at least use the same sequence settings for each and every project that you edit. So with that in mind, do yourself a favor and create a video project template. You create a blank sequence with the correct settings, create any folders that you normally set up at the beginning of a project, import any assets that you use regularly, and then you save that as a template project file. Whenever you start a new project, copy this template over, rename it, and boom, you've just saved yourself 10 minutes. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you may have picked up on the fact that I've embraced handheld filming a lot more over the past year or so. And to be honest, it's just because I like the look of handheld camera motion. Issue is, if I'm filming a shot of myself, which obviously needs to be done on a tripod, it can be a little bit jarring to cut back and forth between static and handheld shots. Well, a super awesome hack is to download some handheld motion presets, load them onto your tripod filmed footage, and now all of a sudden you have an invisible camera assistant who films you handheld wherever you go. There's some paid options and some free options as well. I'll link a few that I recommend below. Tip number 9, come up with video ideas that can use old footage. For the last few years of creating videos for my YouTube channel, for some reason, I always felt like I needed to shoot fresh content for every single video. Maybe it was a pride thing or a perfectionistic thing, but honestly, I don't really know. But lately, I've developed some video ideas that I've been able to repurpose old footage for. As long as you don't do this for every single video, you can seriously use this to create a video in half a day. And boy, does it feel good to complete a video that quickly. All right, lucky last, if you're fortunate enough to do content creation as at least a part-time job, then do your best to set yourself regular work hours and then stick to them. Not only is this really healthy for your mental well-being, but it can also help you to be way more productive. For me, I do my best to only work on my YouTube channel from 9 AM to 5 PM every day. Knowing that I'm clocking off at 5 PM sharp gives me that extra motivation that I need to go as hard as I can throughout the day. As a result, I'm finding that I'm actually getting more done now than back when I would work longer hours over the course of an entire day and night, for example. And I'm feeling much more positive, which is super valuable and something that we all need to prioritize in this content creation world. But that's it, 10 productivity hacks that I think will up your video game, or at least your video workflow, big time. Let me know if you have anything that you'd add down in the comments below, and we'll build up a long list of productivity hacks down there for anyone who might be checking out the comment section. But that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you later.